Welcome, traveler. You must speak the ancient words to... Nah, just messing with you. You ready to play some D&D? Welcome to the party, and thank you for joining us on D20 The Curtain Podcast, where Oklahoma Theater Geeks hit record and explore our new addiction to Dungeons and Dragons. How's everybody doing?
Woo-hoo! Are you asking us?
Let's introduce the crew. I'm Jerome. I'm your Dungeon Master.
I'm Timmy, and I play Altruian James.
I'm Kara, and I play Nesrin.
Hello, all. I am Jennifer, and I play Eula Reid.
What's up? I'm Jared. I play Jaide.
I'm Jody, and I play Lapis.
First of all, this is not the show that we originally planned to release, but the world has changed, so we're making do where we can. We're all in different locations, which we hope you are. We hope you're staying safe, staying home, and doing the best you can to help flatten the curve. Before we get started into our game, we have a few obligatory announcements we just have to make, and we'll do that. We'll get into it. So let's see. Kara, you've got some stuff?
Oh, yes. So we are going to be, we need followers, guys. You guys need to follow us because we're doing awesome content. And I feel so bad because I didn't prepare for this very well. I've been a little under the weather. That's, my bad. But yeah, so follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you need to follow us on all three because each one shares different content, which is the best part. Also, we're going to be doing a little fun giveaway. So tune in because it's going to have some fun D20 swag and also some Kraken swag. My friends over at Kraken Dice, which I love. And we're going to throw it to you. Yay. So follow us. D20 to Curtain. Okay. That's good, right?
Woo! Good. That medicine's working good.
Oh, my God. My God.
Some and put it on our front porch.
Jesus.
Yeah, can you drop that off?
Really? Jared, you had a little something you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, we're Zooming now, which is it's fantastic. What an amazing platform! It's helped us. It's allowed us to play D&D and still maintain a safe distance from one another. It's not preferred because my usual distance from my friends is a warm hug, but it's fine.
We never hug. We never.
No, it's
hug.
true.
That seems blatantly false.
I was going to say, I don't.
I'm trying to build a rapport. I'm trying to build a rapport here.
Yeah.
Roll a deception check.
Hug you like ever. Or if it does, it's like awkward, like pat, pat, pat.
Oh no, yeah, it's always been awkward. That's never changed.
Yeah.
But so we just hope that everyone out there is, taking the proper precautions, and if you do want to play some D&D, maybe do some Zoom action because it's working pretty well for us. Maybe take it from the tabletop to the laptop.
Oh,
yeah, you did that. That just happened.
Feel that?
You pay for that Zoom?
I wrote that down. That's very good. I wrote that down.
I was like, "Hey, Zoom." I think that was a promotional plug if I ever.
For sure.
I was going to say they should give us free
Sponsored
stuff for that.
We need some sponsorship because this is going to get expensive.
I did talk about. Hey, I did talk about Truly alcohol earlier. I'm just saying.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang reference. You can see it.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Other than what you'll find out in the story as we get invested, you can kind of catch all that up. However, we do want to let you know that for those of you who are out there figuring out what module we're running at this time, be aware that we're starting these characters at level 3. They have a story that starts before this, so it just didn't make a whole lot of sense for me to start them at level 1. Plus, these are squishy characters, and it's not any fun if everybody has to worry about being alive past episode 1. So we're going to be making mistakes. We're learning the game. I'm learning the game. Certainly, there are some of us who have played more. Some of us have played less, but we're learning the game. So we want to hear from you. We're thrilled to get your insight, to get your suggestions, but we want you to be kind. We're enjoying the game. That's what the game is for. We're supposed to have a good time. So we're going to ask that you try to keep your suggestions and your criticism to stuff that is helpful and doesn't change our fun or keep us from having any, if you feel what I'm saying. Okay, so having said all that, are we good?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think we're good. We're ready. Let's take the curtain up. Life and trade are bustling. This is the simplest description of life on the Sword Coast of Faerun in 1489 DR. This collection of kingdoms, alliances, and city-states has found its way toward a version of, if not unity, then tolerance. The continent thrives, as do, for the most part, many of its citizens. For most, there is celebration in this fact, and the people are pleased. But for you, the 5 of you, though not all of you yet know why, there is a sense of foreboding. How can the world continue to spin when your worlds seem to move so clearly towards breaking apart? A series of recent correspondence sent with urgency and signed simply Jaide or Lapis have brought Altruian James, Nesrin Kalisole, and Eula Reid back to this region of the continent to a painful discovery. The words of the missive ring in your minds, causing fear, like the bells high above a city calling its citizens to her defense. As you make your way towards your childhood home, a distant melody, a simple tune from your youth, on a pan flute, and in some cases long thought forgotten, plays on a loop in your mind. The memory takes you back to the days spent on a farm upon a hill where you learned the meaning of love and a family. And even now, as some of you seek to suppress the thought, you wonder why the melody haunts you as you've made this journey home. Home to the only mother you've ever known, Seraphemia Hillgarden. You wonder if perhaps tonight you must return to face a disappointed matriarch, or if the discovery will be something far more. Quickly you banish the thought. For those of you who have remained or returned in time, the path ahead is clear, mournful but clear. For the others, it is a series of hopes and plans and repressed fears. Whatever awaits you, you have now reached your destination. But your journey is only just beginning. The sun has begun to fall beneath the horizon, and the moon replaces it. As with so many stories before it, our tale begins in a tavern. High Leaf Tavern, to be exact, but not with the introduction of strangers. Rather, a reunion. A reunion long overdue, but met with both joy and dread. On this, the 4th of the first 10 day in Elysis. In this bustling tavern, nestled in the heart of the town known as Greenest, Nyx Hylif, a good-natured if feisty halfling woman, delivers a tankard to a small table in an ignored corner of the room and sits it before... Timothy, if you want to go ahead and introduce your character.
You see a red-skinned tiefling with a shock of short white hair, but with a black goatee. He wears almost a southern gentleman type coat with a bow tie, and he has 3 scimitars, 2 on his back and 1 on his hip. And he just sits there with copper eyes staring into his drink.
She sort of puts the tankard down in front of you and just waits for your eyes to meet hers. She doesn't move. She doesn't, in the tradition of service workers, she doesn't kind of move on to the next thing. She waits for you to lift your eyes. Do you?
I do. And just say, thank you.
And she sort of nods. She smiles and kind of chuckles under her breath. Always the charismatic one.
How busy is the tavern right now?
This is a tavern that is, it's the end of the workday, so you're starting to see lots of bodies coming here. It is bustling. It's moving. It'll probably fill up more over the course of the next hour or so, but it is bustling.
Okay. I look around the room and just look for people I know, and you can keep these coming if you don't mind.
I'll keep them coming, but I bet you've got work to do tonight, my friend.
I'm just on my way home. All I got was one little letter from Jaide that says that Mother needs me importantly or quickly. I don't remember. But Jaide's always dramatic about when Mother's concerned. So We'll see. I just needed a little bit of courage before I go home to face Mama.
Make a insight check.
Insight would be 8. Nice way to start the roll.
And here we go.
You notice that her face becomes still, where it was a little bit warm at first and, familiar. She becomes still. You can't read it because there's so much on your mind.
Mhm.
You've got so much in your thoughts and there's so much business and activity, and she doesn't speak to it. She simply kind of stops and shakes her head. Well, enjoy your drink.
Oh, I shall. Thank you.
And she just kind of stumbles away, almost kind of half focused on where she's going and half focused on you. As you sit at your table, you notice that there are mostly tourists and laborers here in the tavern. There are not many soldiers or constables around, which is not unusual. And for your perspective, just based on your history and your background, almost you're grateful for it. But as you're sitting there, a shadow starts to form over your right shoulder and then up across your face as though someone is getting closer to you. It is a slight figure. And you look up to see, Kara, if you'd like to introduce your character.
The long, flowing raven locks that you probably find very familiar, that used to billow chasing behind you. Pale, not dark, pale blue eyes, and almost a statuesque figure. She, an exotic beauty, but about an air of a kind of arrogance about her. She wears a gray cloak and buster with the leather straps, and beside her, on her hip, is the familiar book that she carried with her always through childhood, the fairy tales that Mama used to read at night, still chained to her side, and she just ever so lightly presses a hand on your shoulder.
Nessie.
I thought that was you.
Well, I can see that you look just as beautiful as ever. So you got a letter from Jade too?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I wonder what's so urgent that we had to come home. What's wrong?
How many of those have you had?
Oh, just a couple. Do you want one?
No, I don't think I would have one.
Oh, okay. Well, you look good. What have you been up to?
What did your letter say?
Oh, well, let me see if I got it here in my bag. Oh, it's just... All it says is, to my brother, Mother needs you more than ever before. Please come quickly, Jade. He's so dramatic.
Ali, I don't think his mother's very well.
What do you mean?
I think we should wait and talk to Jade.
All right.
Do you know when he's supposed to come?
I don't know. I was just on my way home, but I thought I'd stop in here to have a drink.
I think we...
Before facing Mother. Well, what did your letter say?
I don't think that Mother will be waiting for us.
What do you mean?
I didn't want to be the one to tell you this. I don't think that Mother is with us anymore.
Allie takes a deep, deep drink. What makes you say that?
It just seems that way. That's all.
Have you been at home?
I haven't been home yet, no.
Okay, so we don't know. We'll wait and we'll see. It should be no big.
Okay, yes. Should I did that, what's her name? Lapis. She left. She arrived a little before you left.
No, that's
nothing from her.
No, all I've got is this one letter from Jaide. 2 lines. So I didn't think it was that dire.
I see. All right. Well, I guess we should make our way home.
You two are starting to put all these images and thoughts and the words from the missives together. You hear the bar start to build up in its excitement and energy. A bard sits in the corner, is starting to sing a song, and is leading the congregation, as it were, into this kind of rousing drinking song. People are comfortable here. They're very familiar. This is a town that is small enough that almost everyone knows everyone. And so they're used to sharing the same songs, sharing the same memories, and sharing the same friends, loves, and losses. The crowd kind of erupts in the end of a tune. No, waiting for the day, sort of a thing, and everybody is and clanking tankards on the tables and stomping their feet. Woohoo! Big hoops and hollers as the bard takes a strong performer's bow before the audience, and he is hooted on to more performances. He starts with a slow, soft lute tune. Bringing the energy down just a little bit, not into a dirge or a sad tune, but something a little more reflective of sundown and evening. As he does this, you look about and see entering the tavern a figure that you recognize as well. Eula, if you'd like to introduce yourself, or Jennifer, if you'd like to introduce Eula.
You see a very tall, very awkward, long-limbed, very thin Asmar who is sort of bronze-skinned and golden-eyed and flame-haired. She's not pretty by any means. She's strange-looking. And the Eula you knew was always slovenly, pants too short, shirt tattered. And this Eula is decked out. She's wearing a silk opera hat and a burgundy velvet floor-length coat and a pair of knee-high boots. She's looking pretty stylish. And where she's normally pretty sunny, her face is puffy. It's a mask of grief.
I gesture towards Ali, looking over towards Eula, and stand up. I guess I never took a chair, did I? So I just turn around to see her and step forward towards her, noticing her face. Can I notice her face?
Yeah, I think just as you're make an insight check.
Okay.
Just because it's been a while since you've seen her.
That would be 16.
Yeah, 16. Yeah, that'll work. You know, for better or worse, your sister. You know that where generally there should be reverence and, a certain attitude, she tends to go the other way. However, you also know that when she's sullen, or sad, it reads clearly. And you see it instantly on her face.
I walk towards her. I've had the feeling that this wasn't going to be a warm reunion from the beginning of the journey, just because I've been gone for so long and no contact has been made, and I kind of already assumed that this would be not a homecoming of warmth. I approach Eula, but I don't extend a hand or try to touch her.
I throw my arms around Nesrin, and I am completely cried out, so there's no tears. And I release her, and I grab her hands, and I pull her with me toward where Allie is sitting.
It's mother, isn't it? Eula.
She's gone.
He drains the rest of his drink.
I knew it. I haven't heard from anybody. Not for years. I know it.
What happened?
She was just old, Allie.
Nesrin kind of sinks down into a chair beside Allie and leans her head over and kind of rests her head on Allie's shoulder.
Allie just reaches his hand up and holds her head, pats it, strokes her hair.
I'm sorry you were too late to say goodbye.
Were you with her, Eula?
For a time. For a short time. I got to say goodbye. And I'm so glad I did.
I shoot my head up and look towards Eula, not sure if that was meant as a dig or a genuine statement. And just kind of narrow my eyes and look at her, examining her face to see if I can determine which one that was.
Make an insight check. Make an insight check with disadvantage.
Oh, dang.
because you're looking for a slight. You're looking for
That would be a natural one. At disadvantage.
In this particular case, you actually can't tell. You want desperately for it to have not been meant with any accusation, but you feel so riddled with guilt that it just, everything about what she said reads as though it was coming from somebody who thinks you should have made different choices.
I'm glad you're both here, though. Jade. He needs you.
When did this happen?
DM, when did this happen?
She's only passed away in the last 3 days. So it's been about 3 days that you've been back, and she passed away almost at the end of the day when you arrived.
So
3 days, Allie.
So we just barely... Did she say anything when she passed? Was she upset? Was she angry with us?
No. Of course not. She told me the most important thing was for us to continue to love one another. Like she always did.
Sounds like her.
Just because Nesrin and Eula both have pretty strong passive perceptions, as you're having this conversation and the music has settled down so it's not quite as raucous as it once was in the bar, you're starting to, in the tavern, you're starting to notice that other citizens at other tables have been looking at you. They're looking at the three of you assembled. They're recognizing these children from the outskirts of Greenest, they recognize to whom they belong. And so you're starting to notice that other people are taking note of at least your assembly, if not your grief.
Are they watching us for entertainment, kind of like a train wreck? Or they actually care genuinely?
Well, you're looking, I mean, you're talking about groups of people. You notice most nearby, there are what looks like a couple of mercenaries sitting at a table who one's looking over his shoulder. One is a kind of slight human who seems more cocky and arrogant than capable, who is sitting next to what you can only assume is an elven male, yet his ears are covered, so it's hard to tell, with the exception of just almost angelic beauty that is in his face. He is sullen and dark and looks over at you with kind of lowered eyes, and then looks up at his compatriot, who kind of seems to be more boisterous than anything. But if you take note of anyone specific, you would definitely get different reactions as to why they're looking. In your periphery, you can see Nyx, who is the bartender and owner of the tavern. She is looking at you, and you can almost see the hurt in her face as she starts to see that you've caught her eye and steps up to the three of you. Hello, children. It's good to see you all back in these parts. Can I offer you some libation?
Yes.
Please.
I think we need another round.
I agree. Eula?
Sure.
An ale for you all. A mulled wine, perhaps. Whatever you'd like.
What do you have that's stronger?
I've got an aged whiskey. That's perfect.
I'll have 2 of those.
Sounds good to me.
And she looks at Eula
Eula.
and takes note of her emblem. And for you, dear?
She'll have the same.
What she said, I guess.
Whiskey it is. And she makes her way away from the table, starting to walk back to the bar, and stops just before she gets 2 or 3 steps from you, looking back. And she looks at both Nesrin and Allie, who at this point, just being having the news broken to them, have let their heads fall and are in their own thoughts. And she points a finger, takes it to her own chin, lifts her chin up, and makes her way back to the bar.
Well, she hasn't changed much, has she?
She makes a fine drink.
So what's the plans now?
As you're having this conversation, 2 figures almost simultaneously enter the bar, and you're looking towards the actual bar itself, and so you're able to see as they enter. One figure enters, surveys the room, sees you, and then starts to make his way towards you. Jared, if you'd like to introduce your character.
Jaide enters, normally standing upright 6 feet, is hunkered over and sunken into himself a bit. His hood is usually up in public, but it's down at this point, and his gray skin is showing. His dark black eyes are glistening in a way that they haven't before, and swelling over with tears. And he looks, I guess, in their direction, and puffs out his chest as best as he can, but stays motionless at the entryway of the
I see
the
him and
tavern.
instantly push myself out of my chair and rush to him and place the palm of my hand on his cheek and just look him into the eyes and say nothing.
He immediately deflates and bursts into tears and begins crying on your shoulder.
As the two of you embrace Nesrin, you can see, as can the others, from a distance, you can see not only Jade's release of his facade of strength, but standing over his shoulder, you see, Jody, if you'd like to introduce your character.
Lapis stands behind Jade. She's tall, standing slightly taller than Jade at 6'1". Her grizzled, rocky face, craggled with pain, though that's not an unusual look for her. She seems calm and strong and fearless. She is typically imposing and frightening to behold, but she's familiar with this place, and these are people she knows. And so she's let her guard down slightly. She looks at the table and says, "It's time."
Ali stands up. Time for what?
Time to go.
What's your rush?
Mother's waiting.
Oh, I don't think she's going anywhere.
Your mother is waiting for you. It's time.
Jade puts his hand on Lapis's shoulder and just gives you a look. Tears still streaming down his face.
I think I'll be finishing my drink before I depart. She pats Jade on the back and then moves back over towards the table where Ali is and Eula and takes her seat. Pardon me for not being in any rush to bury my mother.
Well, you certainly weren't in any rush to come see her, so maybe you should honor her wishes now.
I'll pretend you didn't say that because you've been so good to my mother. She doesn't look towards her and just sits and starts taking the shots of whiskey.
The fissures in Lapis's face seem to break like lava streaming down a mountain with glowing red coming from them. She looks at the table, puts her hands very calmly on it and says, "I said now."
All right, Lapis, that's enough. Ali downs his drink and stands up. We just found out, Lapis. Give us a moment. Finish your drink, Bessie.
I say, what if we raise a glass? What if we raise a glass to Mama before we put her in the ground?
Lapis pauses.
I like
The
that.
fissures in her face relax. The fire dwells. Fine. One drink and we go.
Nyx is coming back up. This halfling creature, which is about half the size of you, comes up with this tray of 6 rather large shots of the whiskey. She puts each glass in front of the 3 of you that were previously seated. Hands one to Lapis, hands one to Jade. Looks and sees that she has 1 extra glass and says, puts the tray down on the table and lifts it to the 3 of you. The Hillgarden children. She was always proud of you. Always proud of you. Well,
To Mama.
I know this is difficult for you, but she always feared it might be the other way around. I'm grateful that it wasn't. No mother wants to bury another child.
Lapis puts her hand on Nick's shoulder and thank you, Nix.
She drinks her drink. Your mother was quite loved. Quite loved. Earn it.
Indeed.
And she kind of hustles out of the way. As she does this, the room, which is still kind of bustling, you hear behind you the kind of laughter from the table that included the mercenary. And they laugh. Primarily, they laugh in following whoever is leading, with the exception of the elven gentleman, who does not seem to change his demeanor. He doesn't seem to find the joke funny. In fact, he simply looks up at the human member of his party who seems to be putting on a bit of a performance and doesn't say much. But as you're starting to take note of these two, you hear the human make a comment. He says, it's like volcano fissures in a face. You're still the best looking in town, love. And sort of laughs with his compatriots. Again, a couple of his friends seem to laugh, but the gentleman seated at that kind of apex of their kind of triangular table doesn't. In fact, he looks at him now and then puts his finger up slowly and waves it simply, and putting it back down. He doesn't even look at you, but he does look a little bit over his shoulder towards your direction.
Lapis sits down and pulls her cloak up over her head.
Nesrin stands up and spins around looking at them. What do y'all find so funny?
The human starts to speak, and again, the elven gentleman just moves his hand slightly.
Well, you don't have to stop the joke on my behalf. It's almost as if she's looking for the fight.
Lapis takes Nesrin's wrist, looks at her and says, I don't need you to fight on my behalf.
No, I'm not fighting on your behalf. I'm fighting on behalf of just some courtesy, some, what do you call it? Feminism. Yeah.
The elven gentleman, seeing that this is not going to dissipate on its own, says, my human friend is more ignorant than wise. Forgive us. They've had their fill of ale tonight. I suppose this will be the end of our drinking. We mean no offense.
Eula rises with her whiskey up and points at the bard and shouts, "Hey, bard, play our mom's favorite song, The Farmer's Daughter in the Green, Green Grass."
Make a persuasion check.
Daughter.
That's going to be +0. I don't even know why I'm looking.
It's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, mine.
It's a jam. 14.
14. This is a farmer's daughter in the green, green grass. That's a children's song, isn't it? All right, why not? And a farmer had a daughter. He loved her. And the bar starts to kind of look around at you guys as though it's almost as if in the middle of a nightclub, you asked the singer to start singing a Barney tune.
I imagined it was naughty in my head. But I turn around when they start playing the song and I look at Eula or at Nesrin like, shut up. And then I take my shot.
Okay. So the bar now is starting to join in, essentially their version of "I love you, you love me," so, but still singing as the bard leads them through this, you, in the meantime, using this as cover, are having your shot and communicating this information to your siblings. The elven gentleman simply waits for you to turn your gaze from him and then turns his attention back to the table.
Is he familiar to us?
Make a history check.
Technology.
11.
Just based on looking at these, that his company, you can gather that this is probably a group of sellswords or mercenaries. Obviously, based on their relationship, this guy seems to be in charge, but you couldn't tell what they're a part of or if they're a part of a faction that you recognized. No?
Would it be anybody that I've seen from where I come from?
Not this. These people are clearly local. I mean, they clearly have a representation here in town. These are not. These aren't travelers.
So would it be somebody that Jade or I would recognize?
You've seen these guys before. Anytime you've come here with other soldiers, because you've had a relationship with the local city guard, they're kind of here. And this guy is a big mouth who is always trying to prove himself more valuable than he is, more strong than he is. You can't tell if he's if this is an awkward attempt to get approval from his commander, or if he may have a genuine crush on you. You've heard his name before, and the name you've heard is Edgewick. You've heard them call him Edgewick. He kind of looks like a dandy, is the best way you could describe him. And you've heard
the both of us have heard his name.
I would think more Lapis than you, but you've probably heard his name before. I mean, Lapis, I would imagine, as she's worked with other soldiers, has come to this place often. There are typically soldiers here in this tavern, particularly by night's end, which, good point of order, there are not tonight. You don't see soldiers in here. And by this time, as it's, well after sundown, you would have expected to see some soldiers show up in here, and yet you haven't. The elven gentleman, you don't recognize his name. You don't know his name, but you recognize him. He's typically there. And then there are others among them that you recognize as well. But you don't know the specifics of their organization, but you do know them from their encounters in this bar.
Is it awkward to me that city guard people aren't here yet?
Strange. It's not a common practice. I mean, these guys get free of a shift, they change guard, and they want to immediately unwind and have a drink, particularly on a night like tonight. So you take notice of it.
I look towards Eula and kind of nod and sit back down and gesture for another drink.
But before I'll stop Nesrin's hands, I think we need to go. So everyone had their fill.
Jade hands Nesrin his shot, which he never took. Here, take mine.
You're too good to me. She takes it. You can tell that she doesn't want to go and face what has to happen.
Lapis takes her shot quickly and says he's right. It's time to go. We've had our drink.
Drinks.
Allie gets up, gives a look over the shoulder to those gentlemen. Is Nikki close by, or is she back to the bar?
Nyx has kind of been moving back and forth toward the bar. But as you get up, you do notice that she takes note of you guys starting to move and starts to walk in your direction.
As she comes close, thank you very much for your hospitality and for joining us.
You're the only one standing at this
I
point.
believe
Yes?
so.
Nesrin stands up and puts ample amount of money on the table to pay for the drinks.
And as you're starting to put the money down, she reaches toward the money before taking note of how much it is, pushes the money back towards you and says, "Not at all. This was my friend as well. Please keep your money."
I insist, but maybe a bottle of mulled wine to go.
Lapis stands and turns to Nyx and says, Nyx, you're too good to us. There'll be no need for more. Thank you. And she walks towards the door.
I'll stand.
Yeah, I've been standing.
As Nesrin stands and you start to walk away, Lapis, you feel resistance in Nyx's hand. And from the back of the room, an orcish figure, and he's actually sitting at the same table with the gentleman that were giving you a hard time before, but he's crowded in the corner and you hadn't taken note of him before. He's orcish and he stands towering over most of these sitting denizens, and as he stands, he takes his tankard, bangs it on the table. Once it hits the table, he lifts the tankard in the air. Doom! Hits it on the table again and lifts it in the air. Doom! Hits it on the table and lifts it in the air. He starts to be joined by the elven gentleman. Doom! They lift it on they're both doing the same rhythm. It stays consistent. It doesn't get faster. It's just doom! Slam it on the table. Doom! Slam it on the table. Doom! Slam it on the table. There's more and more people doing it. Finally, the kind of loud-mouthed human is doing it. Nyx has started to pick up a tankard and is doing it on the table. Other citizens in the inn tavern are all doing the same action. Before you know it, everyone in the bar, with the exception of the 5 of you, are doing this.
Do we know the meaning of this?
Make a history check.
Natural 1.
You don't have any idea, and particularly you don't know, not only do you not know, but it's one of those things that you know that you should know had you been interested in the people rather than what they could provide you with. This is a thing that you know for certain Seraphemia would know. And she would say it's important to know because it means you've taken an investment in the people in your community. And it almost saddens you that you don't know. However, Nyx is standing right by you, and she says, "They're waiting on you, children. Lift your glasses."
I timidly pick up my glass and
As they do. And so she says, as they do, you know that she means to lift your glasses after hitting it on the ground, after hitting it on the table.
So I mimic them.
I do it too.
So you do.
Join in.
And they keep doing it.
Lapis does it.
And as the 4 of you do it, the 5 of you do it, eventually, you lift your glass. And once the last glass has slammed on the table, everybody stops and holds their glass in the air. And Nyx, looking to you and realizing that you don't know what is next, she simply says, "Now, say your name."
And I just say,
Mama.
Seraphemia.
And she kind of takes over on your behalf and says, "Seraphemia! Travel well, old friend." And the entire bar drinks their drink.
Travel well, Mama.
Slams their tankards on the table, but remains standing.
Nesrin just says it kind of quietly in a whisper to herself, but doesn't say Seraphemia. She says Mama.
And they sort of watch you all, waiting for your next move.
I just look around at everyone and make eye contact with as many as I can, and just sort of say, thank you. And I walk towards the door.
Eula has tears streaming down her face, but she's also grinning ear to ear.
The elven gentleman who was kind of the head commander of that group of mercenaries turns to his loudmouth compatriot, who begrudgingly lifts his glass and says, travel well.
Nesrin hasn't cried since all this has happened. She still is no tears. She kind of just she walks towards the door, but before she does, she scoops up another bottle and slams a silver piece down and exits the tavern and kind of holds the bottle up towards the people in a cheers movement before she departs out the door.
Okay, so you're going to make your way toward the door. As you're doing this, I need you to make a perception check. And because you've gone off by yourself without kind of waiting for them, first make a perception check.
Natural 20.
There it is.
As you're making your way toward the door, you just vaguely hear, like it's faint, but you definitely hear it. You hear this that is just right outside of the space that you're in. And you can hear this kind of increased movement and distress outside of the tavern. It sounds like maybe there's a fight in the streets, that there is something happening out there in the streets, but you don't know what that means other than you can hear it very distinctly. You can also hear, because of the nature of your role, you can also hear this intense crackling sound. It sounds like, for lack of a better word, it sounds like a charge of some sort. That is kind of permeating the space outside of you. And whatever it is seems to be becoming more present. You hear it better than you did before, but also it's coming in your direction. What would you like to do?
She's a little bit inebriated, so she just heads on out.
Okay, so she heads on out. I'm going to need you to make a dexterity save, please.
Woohoo. That's my dex. Oh, got good dex. 13.
All right. Just as you do this, as you make your way toward the tavern door, you hear this sound, but you're in your drunken state. You're just angry and wanting to get out of here. And as you reach for the door, there is this massive implosion, for lack of a better word. You are thrown across the floor. You're going to take 3 points of damage, of bludgeoning damage, you are thrown across the floor, and the door explodes into the room, leaving you prone. Thankfully, because you were by yourself from the rest of the party, everyone else is further toward the table and is not impacted by this explosion and this flood of debris. However, other individuals by the front door find themselves falling and hurling across the floor. In this instance, you can hear the loud sounds of wings fluttering and screams of a beast. The citizens are instantly turned into panicking individuals, like they're just running around and trying to find out what happened. People who have been knocked to the floor are being helped up as they can hear the footfalls of what seems like raiders coming into the city, into this town square where the tavern is. You look up and find that the front of the building is practically blown off, and you can see directly into the open air and into the open city square. There are any number of raiders entering and pursuing individuals in the town, what look like humanoid creatures that with part lizard and dragon faces are running around and hitting people with implements and weapons. There are individuals in cloaks, individual with daggers. There are large four-legged, almost dragon-like creatures that are pursuing individuals and jumping on them and catching them. And people are trying to run away, and just as they feel like they're get to safety, they are being snatched back by these dog-like creatures that look like dragons and being shaken and torn all around you. Nyx is like, oh dear God, we're gonna need to get into the cellar. Come, run, hide. We need help. And as we're doing that, that's a good place to take a break.
Yay.
Hi, friends. Newbie DM Jerome here. Thank you for taking the time to listen to the D20 to Curtain podcast. Fingers crossed, once our players survive the first few events of the adventure, we plan to start introducing theatrical techniques to the game, intended to heighten roleplay and immersion into characters and adventures in order to get the most out of this amazing game that is all about collaborative storytelling. Our goal is to share our experience, and if you will allow us, yours, to become better players, better DMs, and a better advocate for this hobby we love so much. In order to do this, we want to hear your suggestions and tricks of the trade. Please add your voice and expertise to the show by joining the D20 to Curtain community in a few important ways. 1. We ask you to subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Your subscription and positive reviews, fingers crossed, will make such an important difference to us and help us improve the reach and content of the show. 2. Sign up through our website at d20tocurtain.com. And 3. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at D20 to Curtain. In the coming weeks, we'll be pulling suggestions and insights from the community members, subscribers, and reviewers to help us build a better game. In addition, we'll be reaching out to you to help us name NPCs, build encounters, introduce plot twists, and even through the power of technology, have you join us as a guest player or special guest for panel discussions and interviews on future Behind the Curtain episodes. Please, take a moment to subscribe and review the podcast and join the community. We cannot thank you enough for your time, expertise, and generosity in helping us to explore our new addiction to Dungeons and Dragons. And now, back to our story. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for staying with us on D20 to Curtain. And when we left, you guys had just started to exit the High Leaf Tavern. Just as the door implodes into the tavern, blowing off the front end of the building and knocking Nesrin across the room and into the floor. The denizens of the inn start to run about, trying to find out where they should go. Everybody's a little confused about what's happening, but we can realize just from what you can see that some sort of raid is taking place on the town of Greenest. You hear Nyx start to get people up to their feet, wondering about what to do, but offering her cellar as a place to hide for citizens. And that's where we'll pick back up. What do you guys want to do?
Allie runs to Nessie real quick and just tries to pick her up off the floor. You okay?
I think so. I mean, yes.
All right. I help you to your feet. And I work my way towards the door. Not stealthily, but cautiously.
I wanted to go out with a bang.
Are you trying to keep yourself from being seen by anybody outside?
I'm just and to see what the hell's going on, because
you're trying to make a stealth check then.
Alrighty.
And make it a disadvantage.
Alrighty.
I ran to check on Nesrin too, so I'm probably down there in that area.
16.
All right. At a 16, although you're keeping relatively quiet, it's hard for you to keep their gaze from turning towards you as you are in a crowded building with people running around and screaming and chairs moving and people being escorted about. You look out into the town square and you can see all of this movement. You see a series of humanoid creatures, draconic in their nature, but standing up on 2 feet, as well as cloaked figures with daggers and short swords running about. They are literally attacking businesses, going into kicking in front doors, grabbing people as they run away from them, many of them holding prized possessions as they try to escape this onslaught. You can see just in your vicinity, there are somewhere between 8 and 10 raiders with their eyes on some target.
Are they all looking in one general specific direction?
They're turned out in multiple directions. And in fact, people are starting to look towards the inn. Some of the people fleeing are looking towards the inn, as are some of the raiders themselves.
Where is Nyx in this? Where to us in vicinity?
Nyx is sort of right to your left as you're being helped off of the floor. She has started to make her way past you and then past the bar. The barkeeper is kind of helping her lift some crates and move them to the side. She is working feverishly on a small trap door that seems to be locked, and she's opening it, which is under the bar and into the floor. As she's getting it opened and removing the locking device, she flings it open and she says, "Come, we can hide those of you who can't fight in here. Come, hurry."
Roughly how many bad guys are around us?
From what you can see, you're far back in the room, so you can't really see. Most of them are outside of the bar themselves. If you want to see, you'd need to get closer to the front of the building.
What is it, Ali?
There's just some marauders out here and some dragony type dogs. Mother would not approve. Is anyone coming towards the inn? Civilians?
At this point, you've got one or two people who are trying to scoot into the open wall. I mean, there's really no more door. It's just that the wall of that inn has kind of been blown off, and people are kind of skirting their way past you. And as you realize this, you see that these raiders are starting to take note of that and start to make their way towards you. If they do, you realize pretty quickly that not only will there won't be any surprise as to where the people who were in the inn are hiding, but they will probably just follow them down there and see what they can take.
Okay.
How close am I to the opening as it
You're probably about 15 to 20 feet from the door.
Can I see the civilian type people outside?
Make a perception check.
That's a D20, right?
Yes.
14.
With a 14,
Do I get to
I
add
can
any?
see if you have
you
a
should have a
modifier.
perception modifier.
My perception modifier. Sorry. Learning.
That's why we're doing it.
Learning perception is a +4.
So that'll give you 18.
Yeah.
So with an 18, that changes things a little bit. You can see as the people are starting to make their way towards this newly created opening, that there are scared women and children. There are older citizens, some of which are not making it before they're being attacked and pounced upon by these raiders. This is something very unique for the town. This is not a town that is often besieged, at least particularly not since you've been living here. And the situation seems to be growing more dire every moment.
Ali, I think we're going to have to guard these people.
Way ahead of you. And I pull out 2 of my scimitars off my back, slam them together, and they start to make a nice little hum and like a couple tuning forks. And I step outside into making sure, ushering people past me and just stepping out. This is one hell of a welcome home.
DM, can I cast a spell?
Just go ahead and have all of you roll initiative.
Okay, doke.
Natural 20.
Ooh. Oh, fuck my face. That was, sorry. Oh, darn.
Doggone it.
Our first beep.
I said dick.
Yeah, I think we've long since gone for the explicit rated at this point.
It's just more fun.
So I'm gonna do it a little bit different. Anybody 1 to 5?
He knows us so well.
1.
Natural 1.
Got that 1.
Ooh.
Jade is a 1. Was that also you, Allie?
Yes.
You
but
can,
I
still,
have-
you can still add your modifier to it.
yeah, plus 3 initiative. So
Okay, so 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. 5.
Okay. Okay.
You're right. What am I doing?
Okay. So
Unfuck my face.
6 to 10.
9. Hillgarden children for the win.
I got
This is
you.
for you,
15.
Mom.
This is for you, Mom.
Add your modifier also, Jody.
I rolled a 20.
Still add it.
I rolled
You
an
still
natural
add
Add
20.
it.
Oh, so I get to add
Your
my
initiative bonus.
initiative plus 2, so
Okay.
22.
And Nesrin,
22.
which of you has the higher dex?
She probably does. Hold on.
Probably Nesrin. Sheer an elf.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I am.
What's
4.
the-
It'll say Dex at the top.
oh, Dex. Yeah, mine's
Okay.
plus 2.
All right, so let's see here. That is okay. I want to get these guys into the initiative real quick.
So I'm the one that's out there and am the last to act.
Yeah, me and you both, basically.
Or you have a higher
I tried to
dex,
get off a spell first.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that takes us to Nesrin. Your first act.
How many are within range? I mean, am I in range? I guess.
At this point, you are still inside the inn, and everything is just outside of the doors, because you've got both Allie and Jade who are kind of standing in the doorway.
Okay. Then.
We're just so shocked by the bloodshed.
Well, then I will make my way out to where they are.
Okay.
Do I still have? I can still act. That doesn't take my action. I'm just gonna pick the random 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3 people on the. Would be my left side.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to cast Magic Missile.
Right.
So I hurry to the side of my siblings and grab my D4, sorry, and cast Magic Missile to, what are they, by the way? Can I can see what, can I make out what they are, like race wise?
You can use your action to make a check.
Nah, I don't care.
Indiscriminate violence.
I'm just going to
Yeah.
kill.
Nah, don't care. And I'm going to cast Magic Missile, and I'm going to raise my hands up almost like I'm praying to the sky, and 3 missiles are going to launch simultaneously at the same time from my hands. And the first one is going to take 5 points of damage. The second person next to him is taking 4 points of damage. And the next one takes 4 points of damage.
Okay.
Which ones are you hitting?
The left-sided ones to me.
Okay.
So you're going to go ahead and you did your magic missile. So you release these missiles from your hands, and one of them you hit, instantly knocking to the ground. The missile just kind of catches him afire, and he falls to his knees screaming. "Ah!" The second you hit, again, the missile goes right into his upper torso, and while he is burning and hit with the impact of it, he does not fall to his knees. The same is true of the third in which you hit. He is hit and hurt, but not destroyed.
I'm just going to kind of hang in the doorway, but still in range of the peeps. Blocking, kind of. Just I'm kind of where I'm at, right? That's where I'm at?
I mean,
Yeah.
you can, that's kind of where you are in that space.
Yeah. I don't want to take my action just yet, so.
So this guy's going to come off the other two are up there. That takes us to Lapis.
I am going to run to, but I'm still in the building, right?
Yes.
I'm going to exit the building running towards those guys on what I guess would be the right. One of the cloaked figure guys.
How does that work?
Can I take a hit?
Yeah.
Or can I take a
Roll your
strike? Or did that use
No,
my
you
turn?
have to- I'll say that for the purposes of this, you can get out, and then you had another 10 or 15 feet to get to him. So that takes you to within 5 feet. Go ahead and roll your attack.
Oh, come on. Mama needs a good one. With the glaive, I roll a 10.
Okay, you got +6 to hit.
Do I get to add anything to that?
You got +6 to hit on your glaive attack.
So 16 with my glaive attack.
16 hits.
You have the roll again.
And I roll my d10 for damage, right?
Mhm.
Boo. I roll a
What's your
7
strength
Okay.
modifier?
And you get
plus
+4.
4.
So that'll
So 14.
11 points of damage. No, you said 7 to hit. You had 7 damage, +4.
Yes,
So
plus
you got
4.
11 points of damage.
Yup.
You're gonna go right into this cultist. He is just trying to get out of your reach, but your glaive is too long for him to back up. It slices right across the midsection of him, of blood just pouring out of the wound, even before he's realizes how much he's hurt. In that moment, he falls to his knees, and over dead.
Another one bites the dust. And another
Take him off the map. He is off the map.
You don't have any more movement. Is that your turn? All
That's my turn.
That takes us to these guys' action. They're going to, the first group of attackers is going to, they're going to move in towards these first two protectors and Lapis, and each is going to make an attack with their dagger. And because they're a group, that is a natural 20 on Allie.
Then yes, that would hit.
That is a 17 on Jade. That is a natural 1 and a 5 on Lapis.
I'm sure this one with the greatest hit points.
Right.
The strong one with the chainmail and the
Right.
shield. I'll take that.
So for Allie, that's going to be 4 points of bludgeoning, 4 points of piercing damage.
Is that doubled?
That is going to be doubled. So that's going to be 8 points of pierce. Oh no, that's going to be
Oh,
that's going to
geez.
be 6 points because I would double the dice roll.
Okay.
For Jade, that's going to be 6 points of damage, piercing damage, and no damage for Lapis.
I'm going to run out of the building. I'm going to see that my siblings are in trouble. And I'm going to cast aid on the 3 who are frontline folks. Everybody gets 5 temporary hit points.
So 5. Does that go to our max or just
It's temporary, so it takes your max up by 5.
okay?
Oh, it takes our max up by 5.
And that's my turn.
Okay. That takes us to the next group of raiders who are going to move in so that they also go after Allie, Jade, and Lapis.
Alrighty.
So the attack against. I make this sound a lot, audience. Get used to it. That is a 5 plus 3 to hit with their scimitar, so that'll give you 8 for Allie.
Is that 8 damage or
No, 8 attack, 8 to hit.
Okay. Then that misses.
That is a 19 to hit Jade. That is
Yeah, that
is
hits.
a 20 to hit Lapis.
Oh, son of a biscuit.
All right,
Language,
so it's
Lapis.
these two. Okay.
I said base.
Okay. 4. Oh, great. That was a terrible roll. For Jade, that is 2 points of slashing damage. For Lapis, that is 5 points of slashing damage.
Okay, so I can use my bonus hit points then?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
As they come in with their scimitars in the air, gesticulating up in the air, as they make their war cry and start coming towards what is just turned from people fleeing to actually attacking back. And that takes us to Jade.
I am going to attack the guy that is directly in front of me. 16.
16 to hit.
Yes.
That hits.
Oh, thank goodness. Attack with my quarterstaff and deal 7 damage.
Ooh.
And then I'm gonna do a bonus action, a flurry of blows.
Mhm.
Sounds like a Game of Thrones novel.
So you use your quarterstaff on the first hit. All right. So
Yes.
Or a bad
all right,
porn.
so first thing is Jade comes in with kind of a sweeping action with his quarterstaff, takes it over his head, and then back at the midsection, just lifting up under the kobold's armpit and across his chest. This attack literally knocks him to turn his head the opposite direction. And you notice, those of you who are paying attention, notice that your brother is no longer going for the safe and least violent attack. This attack is strong, it's powerful, and it's
Shame.
purposeful. In that
Or
moment,
club him on the head.
the kobold falls to the ground, dead.
Bye.
Oh, shit.
Bye.
So you got your flurry of blows action that you can still use.
Yeah, I guess I'll use it on the guy to my left.
Mm-hmm.
And 21.
21 hits, go for it. Do roll damage.
Flurry of blows.
As these things are happening, everybody is
4.
taking note that their siblings are not quite what they remember them to be in their youth. I mean, these guys have spent some time kind of fine-tuning their abilities and learning to use their insights and skills to do a little damage.
6 damage.
6 damage.
Mm-hmm.
You get another one, Jared. Get 2.
You're like a war
I do?
machine.
Sweet.
We can call you Warhammer now.
I can use it what?
Flurry of blows is 2 strikes.
200. Oh. Then 17 hit.
17 hits. For sure.
Okay. And then just 5 damage.
That'll do it. You take this guy lifting off from the midsection of the other guy and then back and forth in your flurry of blows. This takes the next kobold completely off his guard, and before he knows it, he's knocked to the ground. Blood and teeth skewing from his mouth as he turns, falling over his right shoulder. That takes us to Altruian.
All right, and I got my scimitars out and I start swirling them around, and you'll notice that the holes in the swords start to whistle and hum and start to create this little haunting melody.
Ooh.
And I'm going to take a slash at the one to my left, I guess.
Okay.
Everything you own in a box to the left.
And that is a 15.
15 hits.
Oh, yay. Okay. And that will be 4 damage for that. And then with my bonus action, I will use a little bardic inspiration on myself and make a defensive flourish. And with that, he takes 3 more damage. And I get 3 more HP or AC.
All right. As you take this defensive stand, and then your scimitar sweeps under his neck, just grazing him across the chest. He takes this piercing damage across him, and because of the pain, he instantly looks in that area where he's feels weakened. He stumbles back. However, he still remains on his feet. That should be your turn.
Yes.
All right. That takes us to Nesrin.
I'm going to cast Firebolt. Does a 17 hit?
17 does hit.
Okay, joke.
Roll damage.
So I flip my hand up, light up a fireball in it, and the one that is at Allie, I holler, catch.
Okay.
And that's 9.
So this one that is just to Allie's right, so sort of the window between the window where you can see this one to his right.
Yeah, there's 2 on me.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 2.
Yeah.
2. Okay. I do the one
That you have the clearest line of sight to.
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm. Roll damage.
9. I did.
9.
Already.
Okay. 9. The firebolt pushes from your hands, kind of threading this thin line between Allie and Jade, just smoothly going between the two and knocking the cultist back nearly to the building across the street from him. It's so powerful, but taking him and out of the fray.
Yay.
Allie just looks over his shoulder and just say, "Thanks, sis."
She just kind of like holds her hand out and pulls it out.
Yeah. All right.
Gives a flurry of
That
blows
takes
into her
Lapis.
palm.
So I've got 2 in front of me, right? Am I seeing
You
that
got
right?
2 in front of you.
So I'm going to take my glaive and I'm going to attempt to do one big slashing motion across both of them.
Okay.
We're going to see.
Roll the attack.
Let's see if we can make that happen. If not, I'm
Sure,
screwed.
why not? Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Roll the attack.
I roll an 11 plus my initiative, right?
And no, plus you're to hit. So you'll get with your glaive, you're gonna get 6 to hit. So it'll give you 17.
Okay, so 17.
Right. So you lift your glaive and try to take a wide arc across you. It jams forward, slicing across the enemy to your immediate right. It doesn't go through to the other, but it does land in him. And what was your damage?
My damage is a 3 plus 4, so 7.
7 to hit. I mean, 7 damage. Your glaive into the side of this kobold, who instantly kind of hunches over, catching the blade with his hand as just kind of a reactionary action, and then sliding to the ground, dead.
Yeah, slide off that
from the
bitch.
first attack.
I mean, sir.
Sir, my good friend.
My dear friend.
All right, that'll take us. Unless you got a bonus action or you want to move, that's your action. That's your turn.
No, I'm not going to take my bonus action right now. I have one, but I'm not going to take it yet.
Okay. Okay. That leaves us with these last 2 on the field, and one of them. Okay, so the one that is next to you, Lapis, is going to start to move towards the front door, where Eula and Jade both reside. And there's but you would get an attack of opportunity when he does that. So just be mindful of it. He's going to make an attack on.
I have an attack of opportunity.
You get an attack of opportunity because it's coming out of your space. He's going to come in on Eula, and that is going to be. Let's see here. Oh goodness gracious! That's not terrible. That's 12 to hit.
Against Eula?
Yes.
Miss.
Sure, of course it does.
Nice.
So coming at you overhand with his dagger, and just doesn't anticipate how far away you actually are, just missing you as you kind of pull back with your upper torso. Just partly because he's just taken an attack of opportunity. Go ahead, Lapis, and roll your attack.
So my D10.
Your
D20.
D20.
Learning. 13.
Yeah.
I rolled a 13
Plus
plus
roll.
6. So
Yeah, that'll hit. So roll damage.
0.
The 10.
Oh, okay. So yeah, 10 plus 4, 14.
All right. I was like, you have a 0?
No,
No, I was like, I didn't know there was a 0.
I'm assuming
I guess
my
that's
D10
insane.
is this little saucer shaped one that has 10, 20, 30.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It has.
The 0's
Okay.
a 10.
I got a
All right,
defective
so
die.
what was the damage?
Sorry.
What was the damage total?
10 plus 4, so 14.
All right. That guy, you again, as he's coming towards Eula. He's got his daggers raised in the air. He's just about to slice her, but he misses her by a couple of inches as your blade cleaves into his back, looking Eula in the face, and continues his action, falling forward into the ground, dead.
Like a little bitch.
Sir, you mean, sir. A little sir.
I'm sorry, like a little despicable
That
person.
takes us to Ula's action.
I don't know if you guys can hear me. I've completely lost you.
I can hear you.
We
Okay,
can
now
hear
I
you.
can hear you again.
It's probably the storm causing interference.
Okay. Yeah, I have no picture.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Or if you're
Or you're even there. Sorry.
This is what happens when theater people sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. We don't get the rules right, but by golly, we will sing a show too.
Yeah, I lost you again.
Ula, you're up.
Is there anybody still standing?
There's one.
One right in front of me.
One
or to my
right
left.
in front of Ellie.
I raise my hand and toll the dead. And
Okay,
a huge bell chimes. Needs to make a DC 14 wisdom.
that is a natural 8, and I am certain that there is not enough in the bonuses to help him out there.
Ula, can we agree that when you cast that spell, ACDC just automatically
Hells bells! Has he been hit before, DM?
He has
Yeah,
been.
I,
Haha, D12, bitch.
Sir.
That will be a 7.
7.
7
That'll do it.
damage.
Take it down.
There you go.
As ACD
And-
is playing in the background.
An enormous, glowy Jesus bell shows up next to his head and shakes so loudly that he, like those movies where his veins show up in his head and his eyes bleed.
yes.
He's standing there looking all tough, and all of a sudden this bell, enormous ethereal bell, just shows up behind him, starts shaking, doom, and literally he starts moving moving in the same direction as the bell strikes. The bell getting louder and louder until finally
And Ula shouts, "It tolls for thee!"
references.
So many.
So that leaves you without enemies on the field at this moment. However, you do see that there are lots of people still. There's lots of chaos in the streets. You're just on one street of the town, and there's chaos all over. But this may have given the denizens of the inn time to hide in the cellar. You just don't know.
I'm going to duck back in because I'm at the doorway and check on the patrons inside and just evaluate that Nix and the people inside made it to the cellar safely.
All right. So as you step in, Nix is still outside along with the bartender, but the majority of the bar has emptied out, is what you can see.
Why aren't you in the cellar with the people, Nix?
This is my bar. I'm not going anywhere. I'll fight if I have to, but I've got Errol here. There's nothing here for them to take, so we'll hold off any raiders who want to come messing around with us.
I'd like to examine the ones that are right in front of me that have fallen, and just see if there's any
Money.
insignias or crest or something that they're wearing. Seeing finding out who the hell these guys are?
All right, just for the purposes of this, make a quick, I would say make a quick nature check. And then make a
17 for nature.
history check.
History would be 20.
Okay. Nature, you realize this is an assortment of what looks like just ragtag raiders. Primarily what you see are a group of kobolds who are in various levels of ragtag armor. There's nothing specific about their armor. They seem to be, if you were going to guess, just recruits, hired hands. They're not under some umbrella. The other, which are largely human, and with a couple of elves, and even one in your midst is dragonborn. These seem to be wearing more specific cloaks, all of which do not seem to have insignia, but all seem to be within the same color palette: deep, dark, rich blacks with thread of deep maroon going down the outer lining to almost create a line that falls down like graduation gown. The adornments that go down the size of graduation gowns. Beyond that, they all seem to be wearing pointed masks. Your history check doesn't give you any specifics as to what this is and what organization it is. However, its effect is almost to create dragon-like qualities in the face of the person who wears it. You don't recognize it from any organization that you've ever heard of, largely because your background is not in this kind of research. But when you look at the people wearing these masks, you can tell that it's simply designed to give them the appearance of dragon or draconic.
Is it anything I recognized that I would recognize?
You could make a perception check.
13 plus 4.
These are certainly not individuals that you recognize. You recognize instantly that these are kobolds. But again, other than the fact that they seem to be ragtag and wearing an assortment of different types of armors and leathers and mails and pieced together accoutrement, there's nothing specific or unifying about these kobolds other than their race. As far as the individuals wearing these masks, you too take note of the fact that the masks seem to be designed to give them a certain unified appearance, although it wouldn't occur to you necessarily that they look draconic. But recognizing them beyond that, no.
I'd also like to loot the bodies too.
I was waiting for that. When is he going to loot the bodies?
There.
As you're looting the bodies, you see you start to look through their pockets to see what you can find. You don't find much of anything, but as you're doing that, you are hearing the screams of help! People in the distance who are being mowed down as you pursue their gold pieces.
I would like to go and see if anybody else is in danger. If there are any other bad guys per se.
You want to are you looking to kind of scout out?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm gonna have you make 2 perception checks at disadvantage.
How do I do disadvantage? I've never done.
So you're just gonna roll them. You're gonna roll 4 times. Take the lower.
2 times.
2 times because I have.
No, she's making 2 different checks. So you're gonna roll 4 different times. You're gonna roll 2 together and take the lowest of those 2. Then 2 more together and take the lowest of those 2.
Okay. So I'm rolling 2 d20s, right?
Yep.
I got an 8 and a 13.
Take the 8.
Okay. Do you have any? Is that with or without your bonuses? Your perception bonus.
Perception bonus is a +4.
Okay. So you got a 12 and a 17.
And then on my second roll, I got a 16 and a 10. So a 20 and a 14.
Okay. So you kind of run around the square, just trying to see if you can get a quick assessment of what you see. And what you see is, because you're looking so quickly and you're trying to cover so much ground, you don't see all that happens, but you are seeing a little bit. To your north, you see a relatively clear path, although you can hear voices coming from that area. So up in this area. To your south and east, you can see that there are people running across this field. It is not a cut path. It is not a clear road, but there are people running across that field, and there seems to be a bottleneck in the vicinity. The road that leads to the west, which is over in this direction, you can see that the street is relatively clear, but you do hear conflict happening to that end. That's about the list of specifics that you see with your checks. Your best guess, based on those two perceptions, is that the clearest path would be the long way around, which would take you to the north and maybe around. Although to get to where you would want to go, which was home, it makes the most sense to just go straight and cut across this stream and then out of town proper.
Have I seen any of the other city guard?
You have not seen any city guard, particularly not in this area. And again, you took note of the fact that you didn't see any of them at closing time or the shift change in the tavern. Man, we're getting some storm now. Yeah.
That's the fighting.
Real.
That's the fighting going on.
Dirty deeds and they're done dirt cheap.
At this time, the rain is starting to pick up in the midst of Greenest. What would you guys like to do?
I would like to run toward that, kind of where that bottleneck is.
You're going to go off there by yourself?
Well, I am willing to check and see if anyone would like to go with me.
I will go. I'll go with you. Jade will.
Do you make an announcement that you're doing this?
You're in the building. So those that are outside, there's still more fighting. I'd like to see if we can help the city.
Jade will stand and go to Lapis.
So just as Jade is making his way towards Lapis, without warning, 5 humans dash out from between 2 buildings on your left. A limping man and 3 young children race across the street into more shadows, and a woman carrying a round shield and a broken spear turns and faces back in the direction from which they came. 8 kobolds stream out of the alley on the family's heels and fan out around the woman, who looks determined to delay the creatures for as long as possible. Her husband is limping. In fact, one of the older children is kind of helping him as a human crutch. He looks very badly injured, and she is using only this shield to kind of hold off what she can. What would you like to do?
And we all see this, or just Jade and Lapis?
I'm inside.
Well, anybody who's outside can see it.
Then Ali will get up from looting the bodies and say...
So kind of you.
Say, this day just gets worse. And starts walking his way over there towards the woman.
And I'll shout to the woman, go and keep your family safe. We got this.
She sort of backs up, keeping the shield behind her. However, the kobolds are on their heels. I need you guys to go ahead and roll initiative.
Do I do anything? Can I do
All
anything?
of us?
Everybody.
Yeah.
All of us, or just Allie?
Yeah, everybody who's out there roll initiative. I mean, unless you guys are just going to run off and leave them.
Nope. Didn't plan on
And
it.
what's your question, Nesrin?
Can I leave? Can I do my thing? Can
you leave the inn?
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll yourself into the initiative, but it'll take you a second to get there.
Okay. I can use that for my action.
Okay. 1 to 5.
Oh, that's good to know.
All right. 5 to 10.
9 again. Damn it.
Okay. That's with your bonus?
Me?
With your initiative bonus?
Yep, I rolled a 6 both times.
Good. 10 to 15.
11.
Who's that? Oh, that's Nesrin. Okay. 15 to 20.
19.
Cool. 20 to 25?
That's me. Natural 20 plus 2 initiative, 22.
21 for Allie.
Okay.
Is that the dice set that Jennifer gave you, Jody?
Yeah.
Jennifer, you might be regretting that, right, Beth?
Rolling 20s up in here.
And it fits us all.
They do fit. They have been very kind. I enjoy that.
All right, so you've got that puts them into the initiative. First up to act would be Lapis.
I'm gonna run to those people attacking that poor woman, and whichever one is closest to me,
They're gonna kill.
I'm just gonna slash at it with their glaive. Yeah, so I'm gonna run towards those things attacking.
Her pursuers.
Yeah, her pursuers.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and make your movement. You've got. You should have 30 feet of movement total.
Okay, so can I make it there?
Let's take a look. You can get about 10 feet away, so you're just shy of your range.
She has a reach weapon, doesn't she?
Yeah, I have a 10-foot reach on it though.
Okay.
That's what I look for.
And I rolled a 10. And do I get to add anything to that?
+6.
You've got your +6 of your weapon.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so 16.
16 to hit. That hits.
And we'll roll a d10 for damage. We rolled a 5, 6, a 9 damage.
Okay. So again, you're just coming up from behind this guy, swinging your glaive. Doesn't even turn around to see you. He just right across the back, kills him instantly.
Yeah, it does.
There you go.
Like a bitch.
That takes us to the kobolds' action. They immediately take note. They're going to take note now. They take note of you and turn to see Lapis coming in, firing on all cylinders. And they're going to, I think they're going to move in on, these two are going to move in on Lapis to where they're flanking her. And the other was going to move in on the woman. All right. Okay, let's see here. So that'll be 13 to hit the first time, Lapis. Oh, wait. That should be advantage because they're flanking you. Yeah, that'll be 13 to hit on the first one. Does that hit you?
How do I tell?
You should just look at
Very
your armor
top
class.
in what looks like a shield. It'll say armor class.
Oh, I have an armor class of 18, so no.
Okay. The second attack. Oh gosh, those were both 9s, so they miss. And then the one attacking the woman, that is a 12 plus 4, so that's 16 to hit. It hits.
The woman or me?
Hits the woman.
Okay, good. I mean, not good, but sorry,
that is 3 points of damage to her. She lets out a scream as she lifts her shield in the air, and although the brunt of the force is taken by the shield, it does come across the bottom of her stomach, leaving a pretty good cut. That takes us to Allie.
Allie's going to run, trying to get at least 30 feet close to, keeping a 30-foot distance between himself and them.
Social distancing. That's
Yes.
That's very smart.
But is all 3 of them within 30 feet of me?
Yeah. Should be.
Then I will cast Bane on all 3 of them. And
All right.
that'll be a charisma saving throw of 13.
That is a 7 with a -1 in charisma, so Bane works. They do not save.
Okay, so they have a -D4.
Minus D4 to their attacks.
And saving
And
throws.
saving throws.
Okay.
That bane is insane.
And
In the membrane.
that will be all I do for right now.
Okay. All right. That takes us to Jade. Your action. You're up.
Jade is going to go for an attack on the guy to the left of Lapis.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. You're going to move in on him there.
Oh,
That'll actually put you just flanking him if you want to.
yeah.
Okay.
15. Does 15 hit?
Well, you should get advantage on your attack.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so 19.
19
Double
hits.
flank.
Double flank. I'm going to smack him with my staff.
Fun.
Bring it. Bring it on. Roll damage.
That is 8.
8 points of damage.
Yes.
All right, good. You take your staff, just crack him across the top of the head. He didn't even have time to respond. He's so busy watching Lapis, and that takes that kobold out. This kobold's not that strong. That takes us, Jade. That's the end of your action, unless you won't have a bonus. You wanna
I
use
can't use my bonus if he's that
far away.
far from
Yes,
me.
right.
It's a good
Yeah, I was
thing they're
thinking,
not so strong.
Nesrin, you're up.
I'm inside the tavern and I look at Nyx and I put a gold piece on the bar and I say, for all the damage, and I grab another bottle of mulled wine that I lost in the explosion and pop the cork, take a drink and say, homecoming's a hell of a thing, isn't it? And walk out to discover.
As you're saying homecoming is a hell of a thing, you're hearing the sounds of your siblings out there having a fight, and you're like getting a drink, and
She doesn't really rush either. She just kind of like takes a swig and she's like, homecoming's a hell of a thing. Sounds like the reunion party's still going. And she just meanders out of the tavern.
makes her way out of the tavern.
She knows
See
they
some
got
RP
this.
coming. I see some RP coming down the road. So you make your way out of the tavern.
Yes, with a bottle in hand. Hmm.
Okay, is that your turn?
That would be my turn.
Awesome.
Because that's it.
Eula, you're up.
I'm going to move 30 feet kind of kitty corner so that I'm splitting between the bad guy on the left and the other, whomever that is that's red, probably Nesrin. That's perfect right there.
I'm white. I'm not on the board yet, but I should be at the door of the tavern.
Allie
Oh,
is
it's
red.
Allie. Got it. And I am going to first cast Toll the Dead on the kobold that's harrying the woman.
Okay,
DC 14 Wisdom.
that's a 4, so he does not save.
Has he been hit before?
He has not been hit.
But he does have Bane on him.
That's a
Bane.
That's a 7. He takes 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. Is he 7 points of damage? That'll do it. He falls to his face after the roll and doesn't stand anymore.
That was a cantrip,
Okay.
DM. So I am going to cast as a bonus action Healing Word on the woman with the shield.
Okay.
And she is going to get 8 points back.
That's good to know. Okay.
And I'm going to shout to her, keep your family safe. Flee.
She's sort of down on her knees with her shield raised in the air, kind of trying to protect herself, but also kind of holding the wound across her stomach. She gets the message. That takes us to Lapis. You're up.
So I'm gonna hit him again with that glaive.
Go
With that good old glaive that I like so well. And I roll a natural 20 plus 6, so a 26.
All right.
I'm assuming that
Um,
hits.
That does indeed hit. Go ahead and roll damage and
I'm gonna
make it a good one because you're
assume
about to bring it down.
I believe that probably hits. And I roll a 10 plus 4, so a 14.
That's
Bring
actually 24.
it down.
So I'm going to take that glaive. I'm going to just swoop it over my head and bring it across and just slash that asshole in half.
Ooh.
The asshole specifically?
Yes.
Just
Right there.
Twain.
Right
It's
there.
literally one of those things where you sweep the glaive around, bringing it close and double handing it. It comes across the midsection of it, and for a second you think you almost didn't hit it until it tries to look to see, that it's got somebody on both flanks. So it turns to look at Jaide, and its legs go the opposite direction.
Yeah, no.
Fall into the ground. The end. That takes that guy off the field. And you have no
Wait,
more
you took
enemies.
me off the field.
Oh, I did take you off the field.
Leave me on the field. Leave me on the field.
You get to live.
You
Please,
shall live.
let me live. Let me live.
What would you guys like to do?
Are they all gone?
They're gone.
Well, that was easy.
Still, the town is bustling with the sound of raiders moving in. There's not a lot of time. They'll be coming around the corners at any moment, and this woman is trying to get to her feet to help
I
her.
will run to the woman and help her up and say, "Are you all right?"
Okay. I've been better. Are you all right, love? We'll survive. Her husband calls back from the thicket just on the other side of the manufactured road.
Go.
She kind of stands up. Can you help us? We've got to get to the keep. I'm Lennon Swift. My husband has been gravely injured. I don't think I can protect us all the way there.
Oh, bloody hell.
Lapis turns to the
Come,
woman
children.
and yells at her, "Go now, run and hide."
Run, hide where? The keep's the only place that's going to be safe. These marauders are coming into homes. They're taking people down there. They're taking loot everywhere they can find it. If you're going that direction, we can follow, perhaps.
Are we going that direction?
You don't know.
Do we know if we're going that direction?
You
Do we
haven't
know where the
decided.
keep is?
You saw the keep. Yes, you know where the keep is. Yes.
Okay.
How far away is
This
it?
is our town.
Well, yes, but I mean, is it the direction we should be going to get out of town? I guess is my question.
No, it would be further into the center of town.
Well, son of
I don't know where you're going. I don't know where you're trying to go. So,
Well,
How close is the woman to the tavern?
she is. I mean, you guys are within 60, 70 feet of the tavern. I mean, this is the tavern.
Quickly, there's a place to hide in the tavern. Go, tell Nyx that Lapis sent you and hide.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, Lord.
No, this isn't good.
You're gonna make it a disadvantage, just so you know.
So I have to roll twice?
Yep.
Thank
You're the lower of the
God.
two numbers.
Because that was a 3.
No,
that's
you're gonna
one
take
you
the lower of the
You'll
two
take the
numbers.
lower.
To take the 3.
Yeah, and a
Roll them
16.
both. Yeah.
So I'm taking a 3.
She's like, no. The city is safest from the keep. If you can't help us, then we'll make it on our own. I'm sorry to have bothered you.
Jaide is just going to immediately stand up and start following
Nesrin
them.
has walked and made her way to them now and looks towards Jaide and says, "We're not leaving you. All right, bloody hell, let's move these people. And then we make our way out of here. We can't battle this whole damn town."
Well, they seem to fall very quickly, so let's just go.
We'll follow you.
Nesrin, Jade, take these people to the keep.
She's grabbing her chest.
You all need
grabbing
to
her
make your way
stomach.
back to the farm. Jaide, let's go.
Everybody hold on a second. I think we should stay together. Let's get these people someplace safe, and then we'll make a plan.
We can't worry about just these people. We have a whole town to worry about.
There's just us.
Aren't there more people at that bottleneck? DM?
There are. You don't know what they're doing. You know that they're bottlenecked somewhere in the field. Just
Let's just take these people to the keep. I'm sure there'll be other people to fight along the way, Lapis.
There's more people over there.
But let's stay together.
We do what small good we can.
Nesrin starts making her way with the people and not waiting for everybody. She wants to get this going. And she starts walking towards
Jaide grabs Lapis's hand and starts running along with
How many
Nesrin.
children are there? DM?
There are 3.
And the ages, can I roughly tell?
You can just looking at the make a perception check.
19. Actually, more than that, but
You can tell that they're roughly, like the oldest is probably about 9 or 10. There is a 7-year-old, looks like somewhere between 7 and 8, and what is roughly a 6-year-old.
Nesrin picks up the 6-year-old and starts making her way.
Okay, as you guys are starting to grab them up and kind of lift them into your arms to kind of see if you can help, trying to take note of all of the various fighting activities which are happening in the various streets and fields surrounding you. You hear again this and this loud sound you haven't heard in some time. Oh God, it's coming back. It's coming back. The family starts to, the child that's in your arms starts to squirm to get out of your arms. Make a strength check.
Well, I can take a 6-year-old.
Maybe.
I don't know if I have any strength modifier. Hang on. Do I have a strength modifier? Oh, +1. 15.
Okay, so you make a 15. He's squirming to get out of your arms, and though you're able to hold on to him, he is kind of contorted both in fear and his attempt to get away from you.
I just kind of tuck him under my arm like a football.
The mother is starting to freak out and move towards the husband. You look up in the sky, and you see in full glory the source of the original explosion that took place nearly an hour ago in the inn, to see a fully grown adult blue dragon.
Oh, sweet hell.
Oh my God.
Lapis shakes off Jade's hand and says, "There's what we have to worry about."
And that's where we're going to stop this evening's episode.
Oh, God.
I was like, are we really going to stop there?
Yeah.
An adult blue dragon.
Level 3. Level 3.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for it.
Yeah.
Please tell me you'll include that she shakes off Jade's hand, because that was hilarious shit. Shakes off his hand.
She
Get that off.
shakes Jade's hand off. That's what we got to worry about.
That's what we got to worry
Fuck
about.
these people.
So that's where we are for this week. We try to record have a new episode for you every other week. So again, like we talked about before, we're new. We're still learning the characters. We're particularly learning how to do this from a distance with Zoom and microphones and looking through each other's computer screen. So we asked you to please be kind, but we definitely want your interjection. We want to hear what your thoughts are, hear how you can help, give us insights and ways to streamline things, to make things better, because we can certainly use your influence and your assistance. Anything else before we get out of here, guys?
Just stay safe.
Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we also post lovely memes if you're into that kind of thing.
And join our YouTube channel, because we need how many? We need like 100 subscribers to make that.
We need 100 subscribers, and then you can easily access our YouTube channel by typing in youtube.com/D20 to curtain.
See?
You can't do that now until we got to get 100 subscribers first.
We want to just say a big giant thank you to all the healthcare providers, all the frontline workers who are doing all they can in the midst of this very difficult time to keep us and our families safe, to keep you safe. We hope that you guys will continue to do everything you can to keep them safe. Any way that you can give assistance, and the most of which is staying home. But please help these folks, because they're going through a very difficult time, and they're going through a difficult time for us.
There are many organizations out there that you can donate to: Red Cross, Meals on Wheels, local food banks, but there are other bigger organizations that you can look at, like the CDC Foundation, as well as Project Hope, that providing medical supplies to hospitals who are actively working to treat people.
Yeah, and small stuff like just ordering from your local eateries for takeout helps a lot.
Anything we can do, guys, to support each other in this time. We're going to find ways to keep creating content, because we know we're all stuck at home and bored, but just be a part of the solution, not part of the problem. Help and do all you can to keep everybody around you and our healthcare professionals and frontline workers safe. That includes grocery store clerks, janitors, everybody who is doing what they can to keep the infrastructure of this country moving forward. Having said all of that, we cannot wait to do this again. We hope in the meantime that you stay safe, have fun, be kind, and play the role.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is a necessity.
Truly
the Truly
Scrumptious.
Scrumptious song?
Truly scrumptious.
Dear Truly.
I was telling somebody about that movie the other day, and they did not believe me that it
I've
existed.
never seen it.
What?
Oh, it's good.
Oh my, it's
Really?
It's,
I've never seen Sound of Music.